I'm Lindsay here for Writing Room. We are here with Robert Liparulo, the author of many fabulous novels, his latest being Deadfall and the Dreamhouse Kings series. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your new novel, Deadfall?
Yes, it's about a group of guys who go up to Canada just to get away from the world and camp, hunt, do that kind of thing. And they run into some people who are field testing a satellite laser weapon. And they have to decide whether they're going to run for their lives or save the town that is being terrorized.
It sounds very interesting. But your new novels are for young adults. How was the transition between writing for adults and young adults?
Well, you know, I have a lot of young adult readers of my adult fiction, and in talking to them at book clubs, I realized how exciting it is to talk to these kids who love story. They're just very passionate about story. So I wanted to try my hand at young adult novels. In getting into the young adults, I really didn't want to um, underestimate their intelligence, because what I found in talking to them is that they understand story, they understand even complex structure of story very well. And so the only two things that I did when I tackled the young adults is I made my point of view characters younger. I have a 12-year-old boy and a 15-year-old boy, and I made the story somewhat more appealing to young adults. It's a time-traveling fantasy, creepy house sort of story.
What is it like to kind of change your verbiage and your wording from adults to young adults?
I didn't do that a lot. I did a little bit, but not too much, and that's part of the um, giving the young adults credit for having a larger vocabulary than I think adults realize that they have. So I really, except for putting words in the mouths of my point of view characters, which would be suitable for those characters, I tried not to, for example, lower my vocabulary level in these books.
What authors did you look to get kind of get the flow of young adults?
Young adults, I didn't look to authors necessarily. I did read some young adults and didn't really find a style that I thought was suitable for my young adults, in the sense that I wanted to read that person's entire library of stories. I really wanted to know what they were doing, so if there was something essentially out of what I thought should be done in young adults, that it gave me a heads up. And I really didn't find anything that was outrageously different from my intentions in going into the young adults.
What were your inspirations for the King family?
A dream. This whole story comes from a dream I had when I was 11. And I lived in the Azores Islands, which is a group of islands midway between the U.S. and Europe. And it's kind of a mystical place. Lots of woods and fog and beautiful vistas. And I found a clearing in one that was just crazy spooky, but it was really cool. And that night I dreamt of it, and I dreamt a house into that clearing. And from there I had a recurring dreams, and with each new dream was more of the story, including the King family.
What comes first to you, the story or the characters?
Almost always characters. I usually think of a person in a really tough situation. What would this kind of person do in this situation? The people that I have in mind tend to be friends I have, and most of my friends are very outgoing, very action kind of people. The character of Hutch for Deadfall, for example, is modeled off after my best friend, who is a game warden in Wyoming, and he spends 90% of his time in the outdoors, and he's a bow hunter. He rescues people, and I thought, what if somebody like that got put in a situation where he couldn't get out, and there was somebody trying to kill him, and that person had superior firepower. What could this friend of mine do to possibly get out of that situation? And that's where the story of Deadfall came from. So, and that's often how my stories come about, is I think about people in extraordinary situations.